Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
I love Ben Riley.
That's right, kids. It's time for another another clone episode. This time, though, we're going to be starting with Kaine. So welcome back to the Ultimate Spider Cast. I am Phil. Joining me, Mr. Signal of Doom himself, it is Dave.
Hey, Phil. Good to see you, man. I feel like the ghost of Ray is in the room, but I notice there is no Ray, so shout out to our compatriot Ray. He's using the kids' excuse, which is fair.
Yes. I mean, congratulations to them on that. Yes, the birth of their second child, a daughter, but yes, Ray is using that as an excuse not to podcast.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? I'll give him it because I understand with a young child it's very difficult. But we are feeling his loss, and I know we have a potential co-host potentially may drop in. If she does, fantastic. Yes. You know,
for everyone who knows, yes, it would be Lilith, who's here every other week. So
yeah, she made cameo in this.
But if you know Lilith at all, it is it's a little after 8:30 on a Sunday morning. So
she may lower herself to a Scarlet Spider with me. It's probably
she wanted to be here. It's more about how much did she drink last night, or
Yeah, it's fair enough, man. Is she still down in Mexico?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool, man. I wish I lived in Mexico. I imagine it's quite nice. It's cold here in Sydney. It's cold and rainy tonight. We're at the end of the weekend. I don't normally look so half dead, folks. I'm gonna fix the lighting in this room. It's my new apartment, so I actually look like I'm a hobo, and I'm not. I own multiple properties. I have a steady paying job, but I am extremely exhausted. So my apologies for the visual presentation. But hey, it's all about personality. Yeah. And my personality sucks, so that's I've got a terrible personality.
No,
no, I'm better than Kaine. I will say that.
Well, who isn't? I mean,
Jesus Christ, this guy is a mood kill. Can I just say that right up front? Like, this guy just brings the party down 24/7. I thought it was going to be... look, I obviously don't listen to anything that you guys say because I opened up this comic, the Scarlet Spider thing, and I was like, oh, this will be the continuation of Ben Riley. And I opened it up, and I was so confused of which comic we were doing, and then I was like, it's Kaine. And I'm like, oh... But I clarified with you because what I didn't want to do is what I've done on Signal, where I read the full thing and then find out on the show that I've done the wrong thing. And I'm like, no, I'm going to check with Phil because Phil knows what he's doing. But something I was surprised by that it was 2012 and they hadn't done a Scarlet Spider thing since the 90s.
For I don't know how many years after that original 90s stuff, they thought I don't know, they just thought that people were just like sick of it, I guess, and like there had been such outcry to bring back the original Peter Parker and stuff. I don't know if it's time.
I assumed it would have been a lot closer to the date. That's why I checked because I was but then, and who was the writer? Christopher Yost.
Yes.
Who I can say, if I may be wrong here, but I believe he did a very cool X-Force run. In the early 2000s that had a really distinctive art style, and I actually had the hardcovers. I think I sold them and I kind of regret it because it was actually a pretty cool X-Force run. It ended, listeners, with Wolverine having sex with Domino, I believe, on a motorbike. I think I'm right in saying that, and what a way to finish a series. That was how the series ended, and I was like, well, top marks. I mean,
finishing in more ways than one.
Yeah, exactly. Finishing move. And I think I'm right in saying it was Domino. I could be wrong, but I feel it was. It was a character that you wouldn't normally pair with
Yeah, with
Wolverine.
Wolverine, yeah.
Yeah, it was like but it was a cool series, and so I know that he's floated around the Spidey books a little bit, and I knew the name more than anything. So it was interesting to get him on Scarlet Spider.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that after that 90s clone stuff, people were complaining, and Marvel was just like, don't mention clones for how many years and stuff. But I mean, now, we were discussing this just yesterday. I think it's been so long since the 90s, and with some of the modern comics, people are like, well, maybe we didn't have it so bad in the 90s.
100%. Well, if you look at the state of Marvel now, their comic line, and not every title, but just how poor some of the like we did Blade 1 on the show this week, and I actually said it's so bad that I may never read a Blade comic again.
Oh, jeez.
It's so bad. And I like Blade. You know, and it's the writing is just basic. Like seriously, anyone could pick up a pen and write it, but the art is just terrible. It's just awful. Like, it's just an awful issue. And I was so disappointed because I picked it because I really genuinely like Blade.
Yeah. I just picked it up. I haven't read it yet, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope you didn't pay full price, man. I hope you subbed the high seas there, because let me tell you, you're in for a bad experience. But I've got a couple of things I want to cover before we enter the Scarlet Spider. So I did a bit of research because I only come on the show every now and then, so I like to give my money's worth. I looked at the Marvel Legends reveals at San Diego Comic-Con because I'm a big Marvel Legends collector. And let me tell you, the X-Men 97 Legends figures, Wolverine, Storm, Rogue, Gambit, Magneto, they just look beautiful. Look absolutely beautiful. Like, I think I'm going to collect the whole line. And there was other stuff, but there was some Spider-Man stuff, actually. There was Spider-Man animated series stuff. Smythe and Peter Parker in a 2-pack.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember who else, but that was the main one. There was a character I don't know who it was. She looks like Domino, but she's not Domino. And she's got a fan. She's that black and white kind of like look. She's got a Japanese-style fan. I don't know who. I honestly don't know who
is that Lady Bullseye, maybe?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that might be Lady Bullseye. Yeah, okay. I just purchased. I got it on sale. Marvel Legends. Is Shrike? Is that how you say her name, or Shriek? She's black and white?
Yeah, Shriek. Yeah.
Cool looking character. Do you know anything about that character? Because I don't.
She has like sonic powers. She would like hang out with Carnage back in the 90s. Like, yeah, she was like kind of like.
Oh, was she the one in the movie? The girl.
Yeah.
I thought that might have been her, and I will say this. Excellent looking character. I just picked it up because it was on sale and it just looked fantastic, and I was like, yeah, that's an automatic. I just wanted to point out that the X-Men Legends figures, and they come in. I'm an out of the box collector, but they come in like almost like a VHS style cardboard design. It looked really cool. Do you collect them at all?
Sometimes. It depends. Sometimes we'll get the Marvel Legends. I've been getting a lot of Funkos and stuff lately, but
sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's its own well, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I went from 0 to now I have on the end there 3 Spider-Man 2099 Funkos. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a cool Spider-Man 2099 Marvel Legends figure as well, actually, that came out with the movie.
Yeah.
I got Spider-Gwen the other day. I love that character, and I love the look of the character as well. The character's cool, but I think the design of the character is one of the best designs that they've had for a while.
Yeah.
So that was my first point.
Yeah. Okay.
And the second thing I wanted to discuss before we hop into Scarlet Spider was Punisher.
I was going to ask you. I was going to get your thoughts on that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not certainly. I hate what they did to Frank Castle, but I am willing to give a new Punisher a chance, of course. So I don't feel particularly strongly, other than I just want to So I don't have any. I think not having Frank Castle is just bullshit anyway. But I get it. Okay, they moved him off the board, but I don't understand why they would just bring in one straight away. If it really was that Punisher was too controversial to handle or whatever, and like we're so worried about like whatever we're worried about, why would you then the next month just bring in Punisher again? Like, what's the difference? Like,
I think it's just for the gimmick. You know, they think they're gonna sell more issues. Say, hey, look, it's a new Punisher.
Well, they'll sell the #1. Will sell, but after that, it'll just die. I mean, now I had one of my favorite listeners on my own show, Michael Kellersham. He just said, because he predicted that it might be the Black Nick Fury, which I actually said would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I said that would be cool. But he said this one's far too white for him. He said he at least hopes he's gay. And actually, I said, in all honesty, I actually think if they did that, that would be cool. Because it's something different, at least. Because right now, it's just like another ex-Shield guy's Punisher. I mean, it's just very... It's like replacing the better version with just a watered-down, very similar version. And that never works. You've got to go at least a bit different. You know? Like, if you said to me the Punisher was going to be a mutant, at least it's a gimmick, but at least it's a gimmick with some difference.
Yeah.
You know? Something like that. I'm just putting ideas out there, and I just feel that they're replacing one Punisher with just a watered-down version of the same sort of thing. And I just feel like Punisher... Look, and this is the other thing. I said this to that coward, Tom Brevoort, and his fat clone, C.B. Sabowski. I said this to them on Twitter. I said, you guys have just burnt the Punisher audience. So who do you think's going to actually support this character? Like, you actively hate the Punisher audience. So who do you think's going to turn up and support this character? Like, all these mystery fans that are just waiting, waiting at the gate for, like, a new Punisher? Like, they're not there. Or, I don't know. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, I think it's more gimmicky than anything else. I'm like, what? They could even did like a time travel thing. Why not bring in Punisher 2099 or something?
That'd be cool. Jack Gallows.
Yeah. I mean, unless they were just like, oh, he looks too much like Frank Castle or something. I don't know.
He does look a lot like Frank Castle. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the Punisher's the Punisher. Like, I didn't think that when Punisher got the war armor, I thought that was a pretty cool gimmick. You know, when he got the War Machine armor, I actually felt that was actually a pretty cool idea. The one I hated was Frankencastle. I hated that one. But Punisher with the War Machine, I was like, that's something different. That was probably one of my more favorite Punisher runs in sort of the last 20 years since Garth Ennis, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I always say, I just feel like the weakness of the character is just they can never have him be too successful. Like, you can have him gunning down nobodies that we've never heard of before, but it's like they're not going to let him kill the Kingpin. They're not going to let him kill some like A-list supervillain. So it's like you can only have Frank Castle be so successful.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think at his best over the years, it's him going after the mob and drug kingpins and you know what I mean, like drug networks. It's like I think the weaker moments are when he's interacting too heavily with the superhero universe. Like,
I think that is what they should do with him, is kind of keep him almost separate most of the time.
And they've done it very successessfully, like over the years. Like they've had moments of great success.
Oh, in the 90s, he had 3 monthly books?
Yeah, and then that's the best era. But you look at Garth Ennis's run. I mean, that was a long run, and that was pretty dark and pretty bleak. You know, his Max run, and went for a long time. And I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I'll support it in that I'll read it and review it for Signal, and I'm on the fence. Like, and they put Frank Castle off into Fantasyland, which was just fucking bullshit. You know, I would have preferred if they'd done Frank had moved, sort of retired. Obviously, we can bring him out of retirement, but literally retired to a villa in Spain, and was just kind of like, I'm done. The war is over. And of course you can bring him back, you know, but like you give him that moment. This whole let's take him to Fantasyland, I'm like, that sucks, you know. Anyway, that's my view.
You know? You know what? I was thinking the one day, Dave, I'm like, if I had the time and like time zones allowed it and stuff, I'd be like, if I had room for another podcast, I'd be asking this Dave Finn to do a Punisher podcast with me.
Oh, I'd do it, man. I'd do it in a heartbeat for you.
I'm sure you would.
like Like, one thing I will say this. One thing I love about jumping onto your show, and I jump onto a GI Joe show as well, is I love just jumping on and, you know, doing these things here. They don't take up too much of my time, and it's fun because, you know, on my own show we cover it all, but, you know, there's only so much time you can cover. When you specify on something, when you dial into something, one topic, it really, I think, is cool. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, basically, I'm saying if you want to do it, I'm always available. You just need to call that bat phone any time of day. I mean, Michelle will be asleep beside me. I'll hear that phone go. I go, I'm out of here. Phil's calling. We're talking Punisher. I don't even, and the beautiful thing is I don't even need to research it. I've read most of it. You know what I mean? Like, what I haven't read of Punisher is probably a slim volume. You know, I've read it all. And I do gradients of it, you know, because it does ebb and flow over the years. Like, and sometimes some runs that you thought at the time were average, in retrospect look so much better because of what other stuff they do. Like, it's weird. Like, I think hopefully this is a gimmick, and then within a year or two, Frank will be back anyway. That's what I hope.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But yeah, if I ever have a hole in the schedule, I'm gonna be like, I'm calling this day Finn, and we're doing some Punisher.
Yeah, but you do about 17 shows, so you know.
I know.
Jesus Christ, what's your most popular? If you have a not popular, but like, is there a main one?
Well, I know we don't even do it weekly anymore. But me, Lilith, and Charlie, we're doing Capes and Lunatics. You know, for a while we were just reviewing, the weekly comics and stuff, and talking any news and stuff. Yeah. Now I'm basically on there if I have any interviews or anything or stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it's cool. You have such a lot of... And pour one out, by the way. Still thinking of your friend who passed away. We're very sorry to hear.
Yeah.
I mention him on the show often, man, because, like, I mean, that, you know, I imagine that's a loss that's hard to fill kind of thing, you know?
Oh, yeah, and there's, I always, keep seeing stuff that remind me of him. Like, did you see they said they're doing a one-shot for Superior Spider-Man in October? I'm like, he loves Superior Spider-Man. He loved, Dr. Octopus stuff. I'm like, he would have been all down for this. And
well, dude, that was one of the... I actually think that's one of the best moments of Dan Slott's run.
Oh, yeah, that's probably one of my favorite stuff of Dan Slott, because he's like...
It was great.
Yeah.
I actually felt it could have gone longer than it went. I really enjoyed it. Like a complex character anyway, Doc Ock, and that storyline I felt utilized him really well. You know?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That's the thing. When someone passes away, and especially with media, like you guys have done so many interviews, and I can only imagine not interviews, shows. It must pop up into your feed and stuff a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Which in a way is great, but in another way is sad for you, I'm sure. You know?
But speaking of interviews, Lilith and I did, we got the first interview with DG Chichester last night, because I don't know if you saw, they announced that San Diego this weekend, starting in November, he's doing a Daredevil miniseries set in the 90s.
Oh, cool.
Like with that armor that they, him and...
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, that's cool because I know that that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I think that their throwback miniseries have been really strong that they've done.
They must. I'm thinking they must be, because they keep going back to that well for those.
Well, dude, it's because there's a lot of people with cash in their pockets who read the comics and are still But what a cool period to go back into, like the armor kind of.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'd read that for sure. I really enjoyed James DeMatteis's Spider-Man stuff, and I think Larry Hama did a really cool Wolverine one, which I enjoyed. They're fun, man. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they already had DeMatteis do like 2 of those miniseries set during like the clone stuff. Yeah,
I loved them. I thought they were very cool. I want to get him on the show again soon, because he's just got so much product coming out. He's just pumping out.
I know.
Jesus Christ, they must. Well, I guess just why not churn and burn through the scripts, get the artists on it, and just keep going. Like, why not?
And then I didn't watch it yet, but I guess DeMatteis is on some they just put out a DC Comics documentary, and he's in it. So
Superpowered, I believe it's called.
Yeah,
I actually only know of it because I saw it on his Facebook. and it's on Max. I've
Yes.
actually got it listed to watch. It's 3 hours, apparently.
Is it? Oh, okay. That's all.
Yeah. I told Rich, I told this on the show. I was very excited because I was like, I'm like, I'll watch one of those things.
Yeah.
And I told Rich is like, I've seen so many of these documentaries, I don't need to see another one. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, we haven't all sat down and watched all the documentaries in history. Like I'm sure some of it will be stuff that we've all heard before.
Yeah.
You know, like I almost, might sound like sacrilege, especially coming from me. I almost don't want too much of it to be Superman and Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel, not that I'm saying, obviously they're going to be like a solid hour of them, but I feel that if you've got 3 hours with DC, I'd actually love them to cover, more than just Superman and Batman, you know?
Oh, yeah, they should. Yeah. You know, some of the people, although I know some of you love Batman, but yeah, I mean, the other characters need some love here too.
Batman.
I mean, look, if it was up to me, it'd probably be a 3-hour Batman thing.
I feel the ghost of Ray.
Batman.
Yeah, Ray's he's just crying in a room right now.
Into the Dark Knight, all to do with Batman.
So I've actually got this Scarlet Spider thing. So it spins out of Spider Island, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, long story short, I mean, basically the Queen, like the big villain of it, was like turning people into giant spiders. So Peter had to come up with us to like cure for it, and then him and Kaine were kind of like wrestling around, and Kaine like falls into the big vat of this cure, and that's what cures his clone degeneration and all his scars and stuff.
Yeah. Right, yeah, because I remember reading it, like, but literally, like, it feels like 15 years ago.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's been a while since I read it too. Yeah, and then Kaine just grabbed a Spider-Man suit that Peter was working on and just like left town. So yeah,
he just stole one of the suits. He didn't even design it himself.
Yeah, no.
And I will say this: first page, first few pages. Who was doing the art? Is it Ryan Stegman on art? I think
it is Stegman. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked the art at the start, and the setup. And it's so funny because I was expecting this to be Ben Reilly, and then when it jumped down, I was like, has Ben Reilly got like long hair now? And then I realized who it was, and I was like, oh, this is Kaine. Who I am much more familiar with now because we've done all the, the 90s stuff. And I was like, he doesn't look weird like normal. Does he still have some slight scarring? Like, there's still something on his face? Or is that a mask?
I don't know if that's a little bit of something or if it's just the artist, but no, most of his scars are supposedly cured, or by...
Oh, you know what it is? Sorry, no, it's the beard and the way they've done the artwork. It doesn't look fantastic, actually. It's that overly kind of rendered artwork, but it's just his beard. Yeah, okay, yeah, right. I liked the start of it a lot. I did question why he wasn't killing right at the beginning, and the cynical part of me is that's just because it's to cleanse the character for sort of consumption for the audience. Like seriously, I fucking hate that Marvel, it's like, oh, we'll let them be vigilantes, and we'll let them just kick everyone's asses. Oh, but he won't kill. He'll cripple, but he won't kill. And it's like, there's a part of me that just thinks, I know these things are supposedly for kids, but honestly, how many children under the age of 10 are rushing out to buy this?
I mean, yeah, I know. At least they try to give you like an in-story reason, because it's like, because I guess they were saying like he was kind of mentally unbalanced, when they had the clone degeneration and stuff. So
it's nuts. He was absolutely nuts.
They're saying that's why he was killing. But and again, he's a clone of Peter Parker, so you have Uncle Ben yelling at him in his head and stuff. So they kind of try to explain. At least they try to explain it away instead of just like changing him for no reason. But
yeah, and then the scene. There's a lot I did like in this issue. There's a lot I liked. Yeah. So I like that he actually just wants to get out of it. So really his instinct isn't to mirror Peter Parker. He actually wants to leave. I like that he booked the hotel room. He's enjoying himself.
That's funny because he steals all that drug money from the drug dealers and gets like a $2,000 a night penthouse, the best room in the hotel.
Yeah, why not? And he's enjoying himself, and he's looking in the mirror, and he's still seeing the Kaine, and there's a nice picture here of Ben Reilly Spider-Man in the hoodie.
Oh yeah.
And Peter Parker. And by the way, I just picked up the Ben Reilly in the hoodie Legends figure as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
I think I saw. I don't know if it's out yet, but when we were in GameStop, I saw. I think it might be coming soon. They might have Ben Reilly in his Spider-Man suit coming soon.
Oh, they do. No, they do. It's coming very soon. Yeah. But I like the hoodie one.
The hoodie one is good. Yeah,
I like the hoodie one. I'm going to put it with my Spider-Gwen. But anyway, I liked it. Here's a question I had. So he shaves off the hair, and he's got like this is just my opinion. I think that haircut that it's kind of a buzz cut, really.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone who's not in the military would have that haircut. Just my opinion, but
I don't know.
Anyway,
again, if he just does that so he doesn't look as much like Peter Parker, maybe.
But here's my question: does he try to commit suicide? Like, because it seems like reading this, it seems like he's surprised. He goes, "I can think clearly, see clearly, feel. My God, webs," and I'm like. Did he, like, I'm just kind of like, did he not know that the webs were going to come out? Or was that just really unclear storytelling? Like, was he actually trying to kill himself then?
I'm trying to remember, because did he have webs in Spider Island or no?
He had webs. I'm sure he had webs in the opening scene. He had webs, I'm sure. So why would it be a surprise when he jumps out of a building the day after? Because he got the money from the drug bust. So why would he be? But when you read that, those panels, it reads to me like actually he was surprised he had webs. Well, if he was surprised, does that mean he was trying to kill himself?
I didn't think, again, like you said, and maybe it's just unclear storytelling. I don't know if it's all more supposed to be like he has new instincts now, so it's like.
But he's jumping out of a skyscraper, Phil. So
I know.
Like, if you jumped out of a skyscraper, Phil, I'd be concerned for your safety.
Yeah, I know, and I think he even thinks to himself, he's like, oh, now I see why Spider-Man enjoys this, and stuff. I think it was more along the lines of the, just.
It was just kind of like the. Have you ever thought this? And like, I love Spider-Man. Like, he's probably my number 2, hero of all time. Like, I love him, And have you ever thought sometimes, same with Batman, Jesus Christ, these guys are lucky with how they cast their webs and grappling hooks.
Yes.
Like the nonchalant way they'll throw themselves off buildings and then just cast a web out. I'm just like, the law of averages is going to catch up with you if you're doing that.
I mean, at least with the webbing, it'll like stick to stuff. I mean, yeah, Batman and grappling hooks and stuff. Yeah, that's it's like really, but yeah, again, at least the webbing like so.
The webbing, I agree. The webbing is more. It is definitely quote unquote safer, but it's just the way they'll do it. And but I agree with Spider-Man. I give him a pass completely. Batman, I think sometimes. And this goes for the whole Bat family. Nightwing does the same thing. I just sometimes think, you guys are borderline suicidal.
Yeah.
Like, you are. Like, the way you just throw yourself off a building and then just punch out a grappling hook just in the hope that it's going to catch on to something. At least, as you say, with the webbing, it sticks and it makes sense. Like, it's cool. So is his webbing organic? Is Kaine's webbing organic?
Yeah, they did. They gave him the organic webbing because it's a weird thing. Cause it's like, I don't know. There's like a spider totem thing where it's like at first they gave it to Peter, like in the early 2000s, just because for a while they gave Peter organic webbing. I guess just because Tobey Maguire had webbing around that.
They did that. I didn't know they did
because
that in the original.
The Tobey Maguire movies were out, so
yeah.
Yeah, and then at this era, they kind of shifted that whole thing to Kaine. So so now Kaine's got the organic webbing, and
I see.
As we'll see later in the series, he has like little he has like these like claw things. It's just like it almost looks like a spear coming out of like each wrist and stuff. So yeah,
I wasn't familiar with the villain. Is that a villain who's created for this story?
Yeah, that's a brand new villain. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, not one of the more memorable villains of all time. And how about we've got to mention this. The old lady's crossing the road, Okay.
Yeah.
And the first when he just goes down and destroys that sort of like truck.
Oh yeah, he just crushes the front of it.
I
Yeah.
was like, did he just kill that guy? Like, yeah, when he like on the page, the way I mean, the art is beautiful, but you can actually see, and I'm just noticing now the guy is ejecting out of it with these legs.
Yeah.
I didn't see that at first. I thought he just crushed the guy. And then it goes to the guy, and he's got like all these like he's fully massacred, like he's hammered.
Yeah, the guy went flying through the windshield. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I will say this: sometimes I'm critical of Marvel and of their decisions in their comics. I actually felt that was actually, I know I'm critical of some of the decisions in this comic, but I thought that was really cool that they did that, because to me that tells me that this Kaine guy is a real loose cannon, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I was kind of like, okay, cool. Like this is actually really cool. Like, so yeah, that was intense. And then we see the first glimpse of the Spider uniform, and Jesus Christ, I'm such a fucking hopeless consumer. I wouldn't mind grabbing that as a Legends, you know.
I think they do have. They might have that figure.
I'm a sucker for Spider-Man outfits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I was gonna say, you like that outfit?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I do, because it's just a bit novel, you know. Like, I'll tell you one of the worst outfits I've seen. Have you seen this Spider Boy outfit?
Oh God, don't even get me started on
Jesus
Spider
Christ.
Boy. Yeah. Oh, people were up in arms about Spider Boy because Dan Slott's already saying, "Oh yeah, that's going to be an ongoing series. Spider Boy's getting one," and everyone's like, "How is this brand new character? You haven't even like revealed his origin yet, and you're like he's getting an ongoing, and like there's so many characters. It's like Ben Reilly can't get even like a mini series at this point. We're effing with Ben Reilly, but you're going to give Spider Boy an ongoing,
and it looks shit too.
Yeah.
Because, like, in comics, and as a consumer, and this is proved by, say, when you go down to look at action figures, and I grabbed an action figure I don't even know anything about because I like the look. It's the same thing with comics. People, sometimes in comics, because it's a visual medium, people will pick up a book to give it a try because they like the look of the character. The design on that Spider Boy is damn awful.
Well, I think Lilith and I cracked the code. You know what it is. I mean, he's wearing the tennis shoes and all that, and it's like, you know what they're doing. They got to share Miles Morales with Sony, so I think Marvel's creating their own young Spider person that they don't have to share with Sony. So
yeah, like a little Spider baby, but they've already got Spider Gwen.
Yeah, but she's kind of Sony now too because of that movie and.
Okay, so. Right, so Sony don't. So I guess if Marvel create new Spider-Man content, Sony don't own that.
I don't think. Yeah, no, I think they have to. I think they
Right.
have to make a deal for everything, each time. So
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah, because they clearly their fingerprints are all over. Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting one. Yeah, because it wouldn't make much. I know Sony own the Spider-Man characters, but it's probably a list. And if you create Spider Boy, it's not included. And if they wanted to use Spider Boy, not that they ever fucking need to, in a movie, I understand. But who cares? Like, the business reasons aside, it still looks shit. Well, make it look better. If you want people to buy it, make it look better then. If that's your big play. Anyway, but here's something I'm critical of. So I like I also like the way that suit is teased with the two red eyes on the black background. I think it looks really cool. What I thought was really terrible was the end of the issue when this guy invades the hospital. The artwork is just so lacking in character that I was actually like, where is this guy? And I know he's in the hospital, but if you look at that artwork, it's really hard to tell. It doesn't flow.
Like the last page where he's just standing
the last two pages. So you see the hospital. The nurses are talking to the everything's going to be all right, and then the guy explodes in. I just don't like that style of artwork where there's no background, and there's the character, and he's a very unmemorable character.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that was a really poor ending to what was a decent comic.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like the design of this villain. Yeah, he just looks like a guy with tattoos and stuff, and it just he has like the glowing eyes. But yeah, he really just looks like a regular guy for the most part.
And it's just, I don't know, like, he just seemed like a very basic villain. But I tell you something that really, really, really annoyed me. So, I've got the volume, I don't know if you've got the letters page. I've got the letters page.
Yeah, they have it on the app, so yeah.
Okay. So, of course, there's the usual shit where they're, we've always wanted to. I've always been obsessed with Kaine. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know why, because he was just a psychotic clone, basically, in the original series. Anyway, and then they go. I found out from Marvel's main man in marketing, David Gabriel, that one of the characters we always heard retailers and fans clamour for was Scarlet Spider. Blah blah blah. And then it's like, yeah, they want Scarlet Spider, who was Ben Reilly, yeah?
Yeah.
And it goes, and while Kaine wasn't originally the Scarlet Spider in those old comics, and it's like, yeah, no shit he wasn't. They're clamouring for Ben Reilly, and you're like, oh, well, let's slap together Kaine and call him Scarlet Spider. Isn't that close enough, kids? No, I'm like, your marketing guy and you don't understand marketing. You don't understand, like, the product, and you even then say, they make a comment like it's not the character name, it's the character inside. Well, then you're making your own point invalid, because the character inside the Scarlet Spider suit, Ben Reilly, was who they were apparently clamouring for, and you gave them something else entirely, and it's like you're not sort of. You're hearing what they want, and you're going, oh, that's nice, and then going, here's something different, and we'll call it Scarlet Spider. Is that close enough, kids? It's like, I don't know why you just didn't bring back the fucking original.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't at this point. I mean, it'd be another 4 years after this before Ben Reilly got his own book, and they've like never respected him. After they killed him off in the '90s, they waited so long to do anything with the clone stuff, and then we had to sit through Kaine for a while, and then they bring back Ben Reilly, and then but they always like kind of like mess with him. It's like they kind of make him a villain half the time. Again, the whole chasm stuff right now. It's like he's locked away and he's like nuts, and it's just like, why?
Yeah, it's a shame. And I think it's just a shame. And actually, I will pay them a small amount of credit, even though I hate that they have brought back Ben Reilly and made him a villain. I think it's shit. I will say the design of the character is actually pretty cool. Yeah, I like visually. I'm just saying it's okay. What they actually have done, terrible. Yeah. Like I'm not signing off on it, but I'm always a believer in comics. If you're going to introduce a new character, you've got to make him or her visually interesting.
You know what? If you like that style, Dave, I think they are coming out with a figure of him as Chasm too. So.
Oh no, there is. Yeah. No, yeah, I've seen it. I'm not buying it. Because I'm like, fuck them. I'm not buying it. Like, I'm just saying, but at least it looks cool. Ray and I had this conversation. We're both just like, it's just terrible what they've. No, I'm not buying fucking Chasm to sit beside my normal Ben Reilly. No. If you did a zombie version of Ben Reilly, I'd buy that. I'm a big sucker for zombie variants.
Yeah.
I just purchased it. I'm not a Scarlet Witch fan by any means, but there's a really cool zombie Scarlet Witch Marvel Legends figure.
I'm trying to remember. I think they might have a few years ago. They might have put out a version of. Remember the story where Ben gets the Carnage symbiote from the '90s? They might have him as Carnage. They might have come out with that figure. Yeah,
that'd be cool. But overall, for a first issue, it's decent. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a decent reintroduction of Kaine. Like I think it's done relatively well. Like I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's pretty decent. And in fairness, I like probably the second issue more than the first, but only slightly. Like it's like 7.3 or 4. But I did think relaunching a character like Kaine. Although, I will say this, the original Kaine looked pretty cool as well. Like, but I do really like that suit. And in fairness, I haven't seen him in anything, so I don't know how long this lasted or anything. So this was my first experience of reading Kaine as Scarlet Spider with this suit, but I do think that whoever created this suit, it's not bad. I mean, if I collected a whole stack of Spider-Man figures, and believe me, I do, I'd happily purchase this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to have on the shelf like a Spider-Man family. I'm creating a Spider-Man family of Marvel Legends characters, and there's going to be some house guests because there's also an X-Men family, but some of the house guests are like some of the Wolverines will come over and visit and stuff. You know, like I tell you, actually, there's a character. You know all these things, Phil. It's a Spider-Man character, and I keep thinking it's the Green Goblin Marvel Legends figure, but it's not. It's called like Sleepwalker or something, or Sleep Dreamer or something. Like,
oh, I mean, there was a character in the '90s, Sleepwalker. I mean,
that's it.
Yeah, it really wasn't a Spider-Man character, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been in the store. I'm like, oh, there's Green Goblin. I've been looking for Green Goblin. I pick it up because there's a similarity.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like Sleepwalker, and I'm like, I don't know who this is, and I just put it back. I'm just like, fuck, they've got me again. You know. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny with some of the designs. But I mean, I'm looking at issue 2 here. What would you give issue 1 out of 10?
You're probably close to that 7. I'd say it's probably somewhere between a 7 and a 7.5.
Yeah, that's decent.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so I'm looking. I really like the start of issue 2 where it's got the storyline with what's the guy's name? It's not the Vulture. What's the guy called? Jackal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like the Jackal. He's going, now stop running so I can shoot you. I like that flashback scene. I really like the artwork, actually. I think it looks really good. This Ryan Stegman's done a lot of Spider-Man or something, hasn't he? I feel like I've seen a lot of his art.
I think so. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of his artwork over the years. Yeah, like it's basically a fight scene, but it's cool. And then you see the full page reveal of the costume. This may take more than 5 minutes. And you know, it's cool. I really like it when he starts to choke out the guy with his webbing. Like that's cool.
Yeah. And and then even after they like dive out the window and they're like down in that park or whatever, like so like this is why I like Scarlet Spider, any of them, where it's like you can do stuff that Spider-Man's not going to do, because I mean Kaine picks up the cop's gun and it's like shooting at the guy.
Yeah, and I was like, this is cool. Like, to be honest, I was like, yeah, but by the second issue, because I had my reservations with the first issue. But when I saw him try to choke the guy out, then shoot him, then wrap him in the and it was cool how the guy actually broke out of the webbing, and then he just totally webs him up, and then the people are clapping, and he's really like the character, he's quite damaged, so that when people are clapping him, he doesn't actually even realize at first like that's what they're doing.
Well, again, I mean, yeah, because it's the whole thing, but he was the first Peter Parker clone. Like, Miles Warren created him, the Jackal created him, and like not too long after he creates him, he sees that he's got, the scars are starting, and Jackal's like, "You're useless to me." He's like, "Get out of here! I'll kill you," and stuff. So basically, he's been like a deformed monster his whole life, and now all of a sudden, he's got a decent looking face, and people are actually happy to see him. He's just like, yeah, I've never had this before.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah, that scene, where the guy breaks out of the webbing and he's like, killing Spider-Man was easy, and then Kaine just beats him down. It's like, I am not Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, it's wicked, and then I've always liked a kind of reluctant hero, and he's very much that, and then at the end, he's like, I'm not Spider-Man, I'm not a hero, but maybe I don't have to be a monster. Maybe I can make up for all the things I've done. Maybe I can stop running and have a life for the first time. And if not, well, Mexico's right next door. He can live with Lilith. Imagine, he could be like
yes, because he is in Houston, Texas, which is on the southern border, with Mexico. Right. So
yeah, okay. So, and also, I will say it's cool to get him outside New York and stuff, like in Houston. Like, you don't exactly hear a lot of Houston DC superheroes that I can name off the drop of a hat.
No.
Superheroes, sorry. Like, and they make that point. They even say this is in New York. Like, the mayor would probably give you the keys to the city. Yeah, like by the end of the second issue, I was kind of like, yeah, no, I'm feeling this, and I'd probably give the second issue like a 7.3 or 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
I slightly preferred it to the first issue, and partly that's because I feel I've got my, I've got my sea legs. I know what direction we're heading in. I was quite surprised that it was Kaine,
Yeah.
even though I think you guys said that. I just wasn't listening. Um, yeah, two very sort of tight issues. How many issues did this thing run? Did it run
I mean, we'll do them all, but yeah, 25.
Okay, so
Yeah.
decent run.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Decent run. Okay, well that's cool. Yeah. Gee, I'd
But
love to know what Ray would think.
yeah,
Ray,
I know.
does Ray love this character or not? I don't know.
I think he does. I
Probably.
mean, Ray, you should have sent in feedback. Come on.
Yeah, come on, Ray.
Come on, Ray.
Come on, Ray. Do you not have access to the internet? I've been chatting to him today, but I forgot really to question him about this. But I do know that I think I'm pretty confident that he likes his character a fair bit.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he'll be back next time and he can tell us. So,
Does he start doing the Mark of Cain again at some point? Surely.
I don't know if he can. I'm trying to remember if he does it.
Because I was a big fan of that he used to. That was
Yeah,
his trademark.
I don't know if he can still do that because that was part of the degeneration. It was, the thing that lets him stick the wall.
Oh no, but I thought they might generate him in the course of the series. You know what I mean?
I can't remember. It's been a while since I read this, so yeah, we'll have to find out. But I don't remember him doing it. But
okay.
But no, these two issues were good. But like you were saying, like I think like issue 1 was like a lot of setup and stuff. Like I'm surprised they could have just did like an oversized issue and did like what we got in 1 and 2 is the first issue.
Yep. Yeah, and then you would have got the full reveal of the costume in the first issue.
Exactly.
Although I will say I did like the way they teased it in the bag.
Yeah.
Man, as I said, I've read a little bit of this guy's stuff before, and it impressed me without being like so memorable, but it was good, and I have definitely seen Ryan Stegman's art. I'm sure he's done like a lot of Spider-Man because I feel like I've seen a lot of his artwork over the years. And I think together, I'd give issue 2 7.5, the first one a 7. A character that's not a favourite of mine, and I'm sort of turned the corner a bit on him. I'm like, yeah, no, he's pretty cool. And as you say, it is good to see a Spider-Man-esque character who's not Peter Parker, who they have a lot more leeway with because the stakes are so much lower,
Oh, yeah, again, I like that they moved them out of New York. That's why I keep screaming that we can do this with Ben Reilly, it's like moving to a different city and, that's what I said, bring Peter Parker's marriage back because you want a single Spider-Man. You could literally have both sides of the coin. You could have a married Spider-Man and you can have the guy who looks exactly like him, has the same powers as him, being the single guy.
You could.
They could do.
But they're scared of doing that, man. They're so scared of that. Like, I think that.
But you could literally have
honestly, both. Yeah, honestly, they're so funny, aren't they? Because I think that really Disney kind of driving the bus, and then the Marvel led. Like, I don't trust Brevoort and Sabowski as far as I could throw them. They don't know what they're doing, And I think that they're so at the whim of what they're hearing retailers say and what Disney corporate are telling them to do, and they're just so scared. They're running in circles, I honestly don't think they've got. Forget about a 5-year plan. I don't think they've got a 5-month plan. Really, I honestly don't. I honestly think the sooner that those two clowns were removed from Marvel, the better. I would almost prefer a suit upstairs who doesn't barely know who the characters are. You know what I mean? Like, then it's almost like Sabowski and Brevoort are too attached, and they feel like they know it all, and they're so, apparently, like with that Punisher stuff, they just don't know the audience. They just don't get it. And Brevoort responded to me, it's like, oh, I'm sorry you didn't like it. I stand by our take. I'm like, but why? Like, your take sucks and the fans hate it. Like, so why? What are you proud of? Like, what are you doing? Same thing with bringing back Ben Reilly. Don't bring him back if all you're going to do is make him evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, don't bother. You've got a billion other villains. It's not like what were you so desperate to create? What's his name? Chasm. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you so desperate to create Chasm? Like the world needed Chasm so badly? I don't think so. I think you brought back Ben Reilly and then you were just dithering and confused. and you don't know what to do, and the best you could do is drive him in. What I assume he's insane. Is he insane? Surely he's insane.
I mean, yeah, pretty much, because I mean, they they brought him back to fill in for Peter again, and it was going good, and then all of a sudden it starts going off the rails. Like something happens where he starts losing Peter's memories and stuff. So and it's just they turned him evil, and it's just like, why?
I tell you another character, just to wrap this up, who they have totally fucked with. Beast.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. I honestly, I can't say how much I hate the way have they forgotten they have Dark Beast?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing with Krakoa and stuff, they just want to show everyone's dark sides, it seems like, or something. And I'm like, that's what I commented on your post. I'm just like, they're all going to turn out to be clones because, once the X-Men hit the MCU, they're just going to make it whatever that looks like. Yeah.
Well, lovable Beast. Bouncing around, bless my stars and garters. The life of the party. Super smart, but super cool, super fun. Everyone loved him. He was in the Avengers and the X-Men. He was everywhere. And then you had Dark Beast, which was his dark opposite. And Dark Beast is in the Marvel regular universe. Has Dark Beast got regular Beast locked up in a closet somewhere?
Because maybe I keep waiting for that reveal.
Maybe that would explain some things, but. They just don't know what they're doing. They've run out of ideas, and when you run out of ideas, you start flipping people evil.
I don't know why we have to muddy up the characters of some of these classic characters. Because I'm like on Krakoa, I mean, they have all the they have Mr. Sinister's there, Sebastian Shaw is there, the White Queen is. I mean, I'm like we expect these people to be like that. I mean,
did you know that apparently, I'm not reading it, but apparently Apocalypse is on their council.
He was, yeah. He's going off now wherever, but yeah,
dude,
that was the whole start of Krakoa. They're brought all the mutants together. Yeah, all these
did they not think that this could backfire?
Magneto was on the council. I mean,
but in his defense, and I'm a huge Magneto fan. In his defense, Magneto does. Look, I know he's been a villain, but he also has helped a lot. He's more on the Apocalypse. From what I know of Apocalypse, is as evil as it gets.
Mr. Sinister was on the council.
Yes. Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister's like, I'm just going to run a clean lab this time. It's going to be ethical. It's like, sure, Mr. Sinister, we really believe you.
Mystique was in a council.
Yeah, but again, I would say Mystique has at least got a history of being on the good side, or at least the grey side. Yeah. Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse, to me, are beyond the pale,
Mm-hmm.
It's seriously, it's like saying to Satan, oh, come and sit on the Council of Heaven. This will never, ever backfire.
No, yeah, and then they wonder why stuff's hitting the fan, yeah.
So it's just funny to me, but I think the thing with Beast just tells me that they don't know what they're doing. It's just a symptom of a disease and a lack of creativity and just spinning of the wheels.
I mean, they had him. He had Wolverine locked up, and he was cloning mindless Wolverine clones off him and stuff. And he was he was having the leaders of foreign governments killed or
all things Dark Beast would do.
Yeah, exactly. I keep waiting for that reveal. It's like, okay, this makes sense now.
Exactly, it would make sense, but. Again, I don't think there's much of a plan. I really don't. I think it's just an exercise in just churning out the content.
Again, I don't know if it's just the nature of the industry now, but it's like back in the 90s, if you had multiple, when Spider-Man had 4 monthly books, when Superman had 4 monthly books, the teams would get together once a year and plot out the year and be like, okay, so we're gonna have this event run through all our books. You do this part, you do this. So I don't think they don't do that anymore, and I don't know if it's just the nature of people don't come into the office anymore. You just have people working all over the world, and
But you could Teams it, man. We're talking.
I know Zoom. You could, or something.
But believe you me, if you and I were writing an X-Men book, and we easily could, if our conference would be quite possible to do it. I mean, I work with a lot of people who are remote. Not everyone's in the office. Not even in my main Australian team. They're scattered across Australia. So.
I mean, the ability is there. You can do, you can conference like this. You can email people stuff. Yeah, I don't know what's.
Yeah. Back in the day, say with the Bat Office, they would gather kind of annually.
Oh, yeah.
And plot stuff out in person. But that things have made things more easier now. That there's no excuse, and I think a lot of it is all they care about is they don't really care about the content. They certainly don't care about the art. All they care about is just churning something out and getting it in the shop on the date. And as long as they do that, the content is now it doesn't matter what the content is. It just matters that there is content.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big part of their problem, and the lack of planning is just crazy, and it's confusing. Like I love the X-Men. I find what they're doing at the moment, it's just bewildering to me. It's too much. And I want to read it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to read all the crap.
Yeah, yeah. Again, like that's what Wolf says. It's like all us X-Men fans. It seems like we're not digging the Krakoa stuff. Why are they still doing it?
Exactly, and just to wrap this up, that when Hickman launched it, he had a whole second act.
Oh yeah. It was like 2 or 3 acts, yeah, but they just wanted to keep it going again.
It's still in Act 1 because they actually said, "Oh no, apparently it was like we're having such a great time,"
because they didn't want to end it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Well, that's fine, okay, guys, but I'm now leaving."
Yeah.
And it's like, why bring love him or hate him? Hickman is a vision guy. He's a big planner guy. Like his Fantastic Four, his Avengers, just those 2 examples.
Yeah, he has a plan. Yeah.
Big plans, and he does pay them off. And look, he can stretch things out too far. Like his Avengers was stretched out too far, but it did have a big plan, a big payoff, and everything. Why get him on X-Men and sort of say do all this? And he does come up with a pretty radical idea, and he clearly has more of a plan. And then they get cold feet. They're like, oh no, we don't want to do it. It's almost like they just want all their sub teams, and it's just like, oh no, you've set it up now in Krakoa, now we can just sub team it, and I don't know, it's lame.
Again, I mean, just DG Chichester told us that Dead Man's Hand crossover. He said one day that they planned that out. One day, him, Fabian Nicieza, and your boy Chuck Dixon sat down at lunch and just plotted out the whole thing.
It's a great story. Tell him from me, it's an absolutely fabulous story.
Yeah,
I love that story. It's a great one. Yeah, it's weird, and I do think there's a lot of doom and gloom. A lot of these things are completely fixable. Like you can get better artists, you can get better writers, you can get a better sort of better plan, and it's all quite possible. It's not impossible or anything. They just don't do it, and maybe it's because what they get is cheap. And it doesn't cost too much.
I think it's a question of money because it just seems like they're working some of these people are working so many books just because the money's not there. I think because I mean this should be the golden era because it's like now with all the electronic stuff. I mean you could be creators from all over the world. You could have to pick whoever.
Yeah, but they're not. You are right, and it is an incredibly. It's sad when you look at the comic book creators who've been around for a long time, like even ones who've been around, say, for 10 years and built up a name. I mean, from what I'm reading, a lot of them are just struggling to make ends meet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why, all the big names now, they have like creator-owned stuff that, so it's, it's because even if it's like, oh, hey, I'm not making a ton of money here either, but at least with the creator-owned stuff, I own this property, so I can do whatever I want with it and don't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah, so the whole thing is kind of ass backwards, unfortunately. With that said, I'm sure I know there are some good books out there at the big 2, but they are definitely in the minority. And I think as an X-Men fan that we're talking about, it does feel very alienating at the moment to me.
Yeah.
I want to like it more. When I see these X-Men 97 Legends figures, and I know that the TV show's coming back, I'm like, sign me up because it's absolute gold. If you can get it so right there, why can't you get it right at the publishing house?
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I feel we've solved all the problems, Phil. We haven't just stayed to Scarlet Spider. We could probably solve the Middle East crisis if we had,
probably
a couple of hours on it. We'd have to bring in Ray maybe to get his final tick of approval, drag him away from the creche.
Sounds like a plan, Jan.
Well,
what do we need that Ray? I have him right here.
We've got him recorded.
Exactly.
And shout out to Lilith, who's still sleeping one off.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I love it. She's down in Mexico having the time of her life. God bless her.
You don't want to know the things I've done.
Just last night.
Pretty much, yeah.
Man, I'd like to go to Mexico. I've never been.
I haven't been
like
either.
to, yeah, no, I'd like to visit it. I think it'd be fantastic. Frankly, I mean, God, it'd be nice to be sitting by a poolside, sipping a pina colada, something like that.
Yeah, if you like the warm weather like she does, yeah, that's it.
I do like warm weather.
Yeah.
I hate cold weather. Sydney at the moment is quite chilly. We're just in the middle of winter, and I'd just love to be on holiday down there by poolside, just eating, getting fatter, getting tanned.
Yeah, see, Lilith grew up in California, so she's used to the warm weather. She's like, yeah, I don't want anywhere where it's cold or snowing, and I'm like, okay.
Good. I could live the rest of my life. People talk about the snow. I honestly could live the rest of my life and never see snow, and I'd be completely happy.
Me too. Yeah, no, it's it.
Also, what a hassle to drive in.
Oh yeah.
Like, I will say, you guys in the States seem to have the worst snow, and you're driving in it, and I would not trust myself in a car. I'd be terrified.
I mean, as long as it's not a lot of it, it's not bad. And, you just a lot of times you got to watch it if the roads are icy. If it starts icing over, that's
like the black ice.
Yeah. I mean, if it's icy at all, because you can stop in snow. You hit the brakes on the ice, you're just sliding. Your wheels stop and you're still sliding.
That scares me, to be honest.
Yeah,
'cause I'm a bit of a lead foot as well when I'm in the car.
Oh yeah,
I'm in a bit of a rally. It's a bit of a rally situation in my head. A bit of GTA going on in my head. We've all been there.
Although I don't know if it's global warming, but the last couple winters haven't been that bad. So
yeah, well, it's something good about global warming.
Exactly.
I love it. I saw some guy the other day. No, it was, when I saw Mission Impossible. Have you seen the new Mission Impossible?
Not the new one. I've seen all the other ones, but not the new one.
It's pretty good. Like, dude, it's literally so much like the previous one. Like, in terms of quality and everything. Like, it's quite good. But there's a part in it where they're like, the next war will be fought, decaying nations, a scarcity of resources, barely breathable air. I was like, Jesus Christ, you're really selling this. I was like, what a depressing. I was getting depressed in the cinema. I was like, oh God, over dwindling resources, breathable air, barely breathable air, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my God, like, just kill me now. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
All right, so yeah, I guess I should let you get to bed.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I am looking forward to bed. I'm on this G.I. Joe podcast tomorrow morning as well with my friend Aaron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, I can't wait. I want to check out when Image, they're going to have new G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Oh, yeah, man, I can't wait. And Larry Hammer's doing it as well. Yeah. No, it'll be good, man, I think. A lot to look forward to, I think.
I think they might have more than one. Like they might have some mini series, but yeah, I mean he's the Hama's still going with that. The original series. I mean he's going to be over 300 issues now on that thing.
Yeah, he is. No, there's going to be. I think they announced there's at least 3 or 4 to kick off, like other series as well. Oh no, yeah, plenty of content, man.
Oh yeah, I think
Robert Kirkman's imprint.
Oh yeah. I think they mentioned like a Cobra Commander miniseries and maybe a Duke miniseries. Yeah.
You know who needs one? My favorite, Baroness.
Oh, yeah.
I love Baroness, man. I love Baroness, dude. She's the coolest. The coolest of the cool. Ice cold blood.
Oh, you know who we need in the next G.I. Joe movie? We need some Jennifer Love Hewitt as the Baroness.
In my imagination, that'd be nice. Put her in the black suit. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Put her in that latex. Yeah. I agree. She's got the bust for it as well.
Oh, yeah.
She does. I mean,
can't argue with physics.
Yeah, she should do it. Someone should get. I'll tell you something funny, just to wrap this up. I was watching the G.I. Joe the G.I. Joe classified figures panel, and there was this chick in it, and she had an ass in her jeans. It was kind of a big ass, but like it was like the camera was on her, like because they were waiting to set it up, and it was just focused in on her completely. And I was just sitting here almost with popcorn. Like, we're just setting up for the G.I. Joe panel, and let's just focus in on this chick's ass and some.
Maybe they're just like, we're running late. We need someone to something to keep everyone's
exactly keep the punters interested. Yeah, exactly. That's what it seemed like anyway. So there's my review.
That panel was excellent.
10 out of 10.
All right, kids. So yes, and Lilith will be back next time. We're gonna be doing like 3 episodes of some early Black Cat appearances. So speaking of Busty, yes, come back for some Black Cat reviews, and then Dave and hopefully Ray will be back next month, and we'll do the next 2 issues of Scarlet Spider, number 3 and 4. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And I do love me some Black Cat as well. She's one of my favorites. Fantastic character.
Oh yeah,
Great character.
All right, so all right, kids, send us your thoughts like Ray should have. Email us, CapesandLunatics at gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics episodes, social media, merchandise. Link to our Patreon. Please subscribe. We're in the middle of Lilith Hellfire's drunken reviews of Heroes Reborn from the 90s. So,
oh God, what a horrible era.
she just did. Well, we just did the Captain America stuff by Rob Liefeld, and Lilith was completely just throwing him down.
Just terrible. Yeah, well, I don't blame her. It would drive anyone to drink, frankly.
Oh, yeah, I knew it was horrible. I just wanted Lilith Hellfire to get drunk and rant. Yeah.
Yeah. Rob Liefeld on Captain America with that famous picture where it's like his chest is out like a million miles. Like,
oh yeah, he's bigger than Jennifer Love Hewitt. Yeah,
exactly. He is. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. Like it's like they're openly admitting he's just using so many steroids. He's just pumping himself full of drugs for America, for red, white, and blue.
Exactly. All right, so find it all at tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. All right. If once a month is not enough for you people to get your dose of Dave Finn here, Dave, where can people find Signal of Doom?
They can find Signal of Doom on all their podcast apps. We run weekly. And we do comic book movies, Bob Dylan, Frank Sinatra, anything I'm interested in, plenty of G.I. Joe, anything, me and Rich. We're currently doing Age of Apocalypse. We did the first part last week, and so the show went up today, and we're doing book 2 next week. And I have a couple of spin-off shows, Legion Outpost, which covers Legion of Superheroes, my friend Adam, and also Dread or Dead, which is a Judge Dredd one, which we do. It's semi-regular. It's whenever Adam and I want to do it. But Signal of Doom is the flagship show, and it's out every week. And I think we're at episode, next week's 320. So we've done 320. So we've been around for a while now, but it's always a lot of fun. I always have a good time. So yeah, I encourage any listeners who've liked what I have to say here. I try to tone it down for Phil, try to keep it PG, although... Well, like, it is PG. Like, if you're a 13-year-old, you'd be checking out that chick's ass as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like your eyes are going to burn.
No.
So check me out. And thank you for having me on, Phil, as always, man.
Oh, hey, thanks. It's always a good time when you're here. The minute I have any kind of hole in the schedule, man, I'm going to be reaching out to you, be like, let's do some Punisher.
Well, I'm ready. I'm available.
Oh, I would be down. I'd be down for something regular. I'd be like, hey, let's do the Punisher in order, or something. Let's do, start at the beginning and do all the Punisher in order. Jesus
Christ, we'll be here for about the next 20 years. But
the 90s would take a while to get through. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, seriously, I'm available, but I reckon I'd die and we'd be halfway done. You know what I mean? It'd be like,
I know.
At least we have a legacy. And by the way, we have a lot of guests and stuff that come on Signal. Chuck Dix has been on many times with Jim Mateus. We try to get a good caliber of guests. We've had Dungeons and Dragons people on as well. Yeah. And I'm about to have the writer of Assassin's Creed Mirage on as well.
Nice.
She's coming up soon. She's an Aussie.
Oh, nice. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Again, Luke will be back next time for some Black Cat, and Dave will be back in a month. Hopefully, Ray will be back.
Yeah, come on, Ray. Lift your game.
Quit using that kid as an excuse. All right, but until next time, swing on back.
See you, kids.